Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the United Stand. Loads going on. Ever-changing scene of Manchester United transfer window. It's ever-changing today. We've got loads to get into. Cheers for joining, everybody. Get your comments in the comments section because you may have seen a lot of you have picked up on it already who have been waiting in the room there in the live section that the thumbnail has changed. Hence why I said at the start of the show that there is an ever-changing scene on the United's transfer front right now. A lot of people are still frustrated, but on today's show, we're going to talk Malacia, we're going to talk Eriksen, Jong. These are the three main targets, but there's been a lot of moving and shaking around. If you've not already watched Mark's show this morning, there's some more information on top of that now. So, like I said, get your comments in on everything that I'm talking about. Let me know what you think as well, because I'm going to start with what has just happened and why we changed the thumbnail, which was mainly around not panicking regarding transfers, because a lot of fans will look into the issue with Malacia changing agencies from an agency to his father, like we said this morning. But no panic, nothing to worry about. That's what's coming out from mainstream media right now. This is just one of them things which is just going to prolong everything that's going on right now. And if you did want to look into things or see signs, or you're one of them types of people who looks at something and goes, oh, wow, there you go. Well, Manchester United have announced that the kit launch has been delayed. Now, you could probably read into that, and knowing United, which I'm sure you all do, and how we deal with transfers and what we actually do when it comes to a new player coming in and wanting to launch that kit, very similar, if not on the same day, new face, then there you go. That could be why. I do believe that things will be moving very quickly next week. But Howard Nurse has just dropped that tweet in. It's just been on your screen then. Malacia soon then. So looking into it, what can we say? From this morning, obviously, we know that he's changed his representation from HCM Sports Management, which was his old agency, now to his dad, apparently. So just throws a little spanner in the works. And what people read into that was, oh, that's the same agency that Frankie de Jong is involved in. But looking ahead to it all, you just got to say, look, well, it's a different agency. Maybe it's not going to be done as soon as we thought. Is it going to be done before we go on tour? More than likely, going off the noises that have come out so far. I'm going to obviously bring up the tweets as well from everything that has come out today. We've got stuff from Samuel Luckhurst. He's the one really who started the bandwagon of don't panic. Malacia is still going to be a United player. Everything is agreed. Obviously, with a change like that, all of a sudden, whether there's been fallout behind the scenes or what, it just adds a little bit of time to it. And United don't move fast, as we know anyway. But we do know that monies are in place for most of these signings. It's like you said there, it's on your screen right now. Tyrell Malacia, his representation has changed. Everything is there. It's clear. It just adds a little bit of time to the situation and the negotiation on certain things. So whether it'll speed it up, I don't know. Whether it'll slow it down, with his dad being in charge now, what does that mean? Do we need to read into it too much? Probably not. Settle down. Don't worry about it. Everything is in place that needs to be in place. He wants to come to Manchester United. It'll be an absolute bombshell if anything went wrong now from this point. So, like Samuel Luckhurst has said, don't panic. Everything is still in place. We're still expecting the deal to go through. And like I said, United have moved with that. New shirt unveiling next week now, probably. And that's where we're at with it. And to be fair, I did tweet out myself personally this morning, not really concerned about anything like this, not looking into it too much. Don't think it's going to cause any issue at all. Still going to be a good deal. Just a little bit of a change, a little bit of a small spanner in the work. I think everyone was exaggerating this morning when they brought it out, so it could be considerably damaging, or I can't remember how they worded it actually now, but along them terms, you know what it's like. Anything with United, let's just put a little bit of wordology into it, and there you go. There's headlines, there's columns, and there's plenty of clicks. That's all I would say. A football layout with the relevant expertise has been brought in to oversee Tyrell Malacia to Manchester United. That's come from at 1908NL on Twitter there, as you can see on your screen. It's people were messaging me before, is this why the likes of Tom Keane has been brought into the football club? What's he going to do? When these negotiations come around, it seems that personal terms and stuff like that are never really a problem for United, which is why I don't think the Malacia issue with his agency changing to his father is going to cause much of a problem. United will normally give a player pretty much whatever he wants. That point proven, and the next thing I'm going to bring up now regarding Christian Eriksen, but that's why I'm not concerned about it. United, when it comes to that side of negotiating, for some reason, just seem to give every player whatever they want. It would seem, the wages that have been going around at this football club, but nothing to concern me. You guys can think of it what you want. Again, let me know what you think. It looks like most of you are just fed up with not seeing anyone at all. It's been good seeing everyone at training and looking at something a bit different. I do believe that a few of these deals will be over the line before Manchester United head over on tour, and then we'll start seeing hopefully some real progress. But I did mention the wage structure there at Manchester United, and which is what originally I was going to go into at the top of this top of this show and this video, was regarding Christian Eriksen. And looking at it right now, Christian Eriksen, it's understood Christian Eriksen will join Manchester United if they complete the signings of Frenkie de Jong until Malacia. I'm looking at it going, why is Christian Eriksen looking at it this way? And you can break it down to where it's like, should you really be looking at it? You're coming to Manchester United. You can look at it there with your red-tinted glasses on if you want and say, come on, mate. Seriously, you've been given a great chance here to come and play for Manchester United. Shouldn't even be thinking about it. But then you look at it from the player's side or from the outside as such, and you go, well, does he really want to come in to a Manchester United, which is, well, some would say a sinking ship? We're hoping it's going to be turned around by Ten Hag, obviously. But you look at it from Eriksen's point of view and you go, well, I don't really want to be the only one. I want to be sort of convinced by the project. It'd be nice if we'd seen some signings coming over the line first. I'm in no rush. Obviously, free agent. No problems at all there. I'm guessing he's been keeping himself fit. And like we said, United go on tour next week. He'll probably look at it from the outside going, it sounds like these deals are very close. Let's just bide our time a little bit. United apparently have gone into verbal negotiations with Eriksen. I spoken to him directly to try and convince him. Some United fans would look at that and say, why are we having to convince a player, a free agent, whose only other option is Brentford? But like I said, this is a big decision for Eriksen. This is probably his last big move as well. So United are obviously, like I've said before on many shows, having to make the hard sell with a lot of players with there being no Champions League football. But I think there's more than enough there for Eriksen to be convinced by Manchester United. The Ten Hag factor, obviously, Ten Hag was the one that took him in at Ajax when he first came back from recovery from that horrible Euros. We all seen what happened there with Eriksen. Ten Hag was the one that brought him back and let him train with the Ajax squad. So there is a rapport there. There is a relationship there. So he's probably just looking at it from the outside and saying, look, no rush, no panic. Pretty much like we're saying on this show, it's like a few of these deals are going to take that little bit extra time now. So why should he rush into it? 150 grand a week has been muted, though, as to why, as to what Eriksen is actually going to be on. 150 a week. Oh, some would say that doesn't sound too steep now, considering what we might be paying someone like Frenkie de Jong, but 150, and this is where I said beforehand with the Malacia thing, it's all linked together. It's like, I'm never concerned of a player on personal terms. Yeah, you could say the likes of Paul Pogba and the ego that he was. But let's be fair, Paul Pogba thought he was something that he wasn't in a lot of United fans' eyes. You can see there on your screen now from the Mirror that reported the wages for Christian Eriksen. So Christian Eriksen are willing to give him a two-year deal on 150 a week. However, he is waiting to see if United sign this summer, who United signed this summer before making his decision. That's everything that I just said there and what I was talking about in terms of him just stepping back and not rushing into it. He doesn't need to. But looking at it again, like I just said then, Malacia, Eriksen, contractual. I think I said that right there, actually. I think I did, yeah. Sounds all right. I've not got an issue with Manchester United. I don't agree in some of the wages, but if it came to a point where, right, it's down to United offering this player more than anyone else, and that's the only thing that's stopping this deal got over the line, never a concern. I don't know what it is, how we just offer players the world, but try to run and skimp and scrape around the edges for transfer fees. It's completely backwards. I mean, we did a show, about 4 weeks ago, when we calculated the exact amount of money that we're saving now off the players' wages that we've just released. It was somewhere near 50 million a year. So when it comes to wages that are available, I think this has been well documented as well, that they feel confident in getting deals over the line this summer. United, they're not concerned with the whole sort of speed of things, because players will hang around, players will wait and bide their time for making a decision, because United will give them what they want ultimately. That's a definite. We've seen that. And we're looking at it going, is this going to be a problem? Eriksen waiting? No, it's not. Malacia changing agency. What's that going to do? We're still going to offer him a good deal. I don't think United are going to change anything. I think there's a lot of stuff that was already in line and in place before it even came to this. But I ain't got a concern with it. Not at all. I do think that if United wanted Eriksen, I think they'll offer him what he wants. I do believe that Eriksen will end up at Manchester United now, in my opinion. Malacia, not concerned about that. And I think next week is a big statement, but before that tour even starts, I do believe that we could possibly see at least 2, maybe 3 new faces heading out on tour with Manchester United. That being Frenkie, that being Eriksen, and obviously Malacia, like we just spoke about then. That's my opinion alone. Just reading the room and knowing and looking into what's been said and where we're at with all the negotiations, I do think that we should have a few new faces in this squad. And then we can see what Ten Hag is really made of. Super chat from Dan. Hi, Adam. Is Dylan Levy going to Dundee United? Honestly, mate, I've not seen that yet. Cannot comment completely on that, Dan, I'm afraid. I will look into it more. We've just been dealing with everything that's come up. There's new information coming around all the time. And if you do flick over to the United Stand Twitter feed, follow us on there. Yep, we have got more news coming through now, because I believe there is some Yuri Tillemans news as well that's just breaking. I'm seeing stuff on Lissandro Martinez as well. Everything is going off all the time. I'm just trying to read up on a couple of things now. I'm just going to read out some tweets that are actually on the United Stand account, so you guys know exactly where I'm coming from. But there have been positive talks over Lissandro Martinez. Manchester United are adopting a similar method to how they are doing with Malacia deal. Then we've got Erik ten Hag as primarily focusing his spending plans on players he has worked with or come up against in the Dutch league. TalkSport understands. The new United boss is a big fan of Yuri Tillemans. That's come from Alex Crook on TalkSport. And you can understand that. And it's like we talked about the scouting system and stuff like that with Manchester United. And what's the point in them being there? Ten Hag is coming, and it looks like this is what we was hoping for. This is what we wanted. Ten Hag having the power. It's like, well, it doesn't look to me like anyone coming into the football club at the moment is anything like what would have been thrown at Ten Hag and saying, you're having that player. It does look like the players that we're being linked with and the way that things are going and negotiations are going and the way the media are talking and the links that are coming out is players that Ten Hag wants at this football club. When you look at it all, Frankie de Jong, prime example, obviously. Malacia, we know he's an admirer of from Feyenoord and coming up against him last season. Eriksen, like I just said then, he knows him well. He knows he can fit into that style of football that he's got, system style football like Ten Hag has got. Yuri Tillemans, again, another player that he knows, another player that you would say he's good on the eye for that type of football in terms of playing in between the lines. The Tillemans one for me, though, in my opinion alone, causes a few problems in terms of who plays, because you're going to have Donny coming back. You're going to have Tillemans in there if that did happen, obviously. Eriksen coming in, Bruno. I know the formations that he likes to play, but there's still too many chefs in that kitchen, in that department for me. And does that mean that one of these players then ends up playing in a position he shouldn't be? Everyone starts judging him for playing out of position and not playing as well as where he can perform at his best. All that comes into it. So Tillemans, what's that? Someone just whispered in my ear saying Frankie de Jong's just got engaged. Lovely jubbler. Congratulations, Frankie Young. That's one way of celebrating joining Manchester United, mate. Adam Moore with the super chat as well. Cheers, mate. Current player to improve most under Ten Hag? Question to me. Current player. Honestly, I think he will be the one that reigns in Bruno Fernandes. That's my opinion. I do believe Bruno Fernandes has got the work rate that Eric Ten Hag thrives on. The stats don't lie. Bruno Fernandes runs more than anyone in this team every single game. You just need to harness that energy and try and discipline the man a little bit, because the erraticness was there for all to see last season with Bruno Fernandes. Wasteful and not at his best, because he wasn't given the free reign that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was giving him. Ten Hag came in and tried to play a system, didn't work. So with a full pre-season of Ten Hag, to answer that super chat, I think it'll be Bruno Fernandes who improves more. I would like to see some more out of Marcus Rashford, but I think that's even more of a challenge than what Bruno Fernandes would be, because I just don't think Rashford has put in the effort at all. So, yeah, interesting. People in the comments there saying Fred would be one player that sort of jumped up. I don't know where Fred fits in with Eric Ten Hag. He's already bigged up Scott McTominay, which is painful for me to say alone. I don't know what it is with these managers and Scott McTominay. I really don't. But you got to look at it and go, if McTominay's going to play, Frankie's going to play, we're talking Donny coming back, we're talking Bruno Fernandes, where does Fred fit in? It's going to be an interesting system and formation for Fred to work on the Ten Hag. That's just my opinion on that. I do believe Fred is in a better place than what Scott McTominay is, quality-wise. And that's not much more, don't get me wrong, but I think we did see more from Fred than we did McTominay last season, especially towards the back end of it. And you know what? That high press that Ten Hag likes, that's where Fred was prospering last season more than anyone. So for me, I can see where Fred might work, but I just look at the rest of the players and I go, has Fred got the control and the passing capabilities that Frank, that Donny might have, that Bruno might have? I know Bruno was erratic, but like I said, he can harness that. And then it completely blows out my argument altogether, because you bring Scott McTominay in there, who I think is worse at passing the ball than Fred. So I don't know what he's seen. Going to be interesting how he works it all. But obviously, guys, let me know what you think about Eriksen. Let me know what you think regarding the likes of Tielemans and things like that. I mean, honestly, I can't see Tielemans coming to Manchester United. I just don't think that's an area of the pitch that we need to be looking at right now, especially if Eriksen comes in. I mean, we know he can play centrally in an advanced role. We know Bruno does that. We know Donny can do that. We know that Frankie can play in that holding role and then dictate the game from there. Where does that leave McTominay? If he has big McTominay up that much, is that convincing enough to bring McTominay into the team? I don't think so, to be honest. I don't see how McTominay works in this. He isn't going to be the one, for me, like the destroyer next to Frankie de Jong that's going to work for Ten Hag. I'd love to be proven wrong, but you got to look at it and go, well, for me, I won't want Fred there. It's where you would think United needed that extra midfielder and where we should be spending money. And like we've said before, Kamara, a player like that would have been ideal to put alongside the likes of Frankie de Jong, but we just seem to miss the boat on them. And it worries me that United are actually thinking that Scott McTominay is still a player that he really isn't. MUFC are already moving on to other transfer targets as they wait to finalise their first signing this summer. That's from Samuel Luckhurst in the MEN. Super chat in there from Duncan. Cheers for that. Would it be a good idea to loan the likes of Ahmad, Palestra, Garnacho and Mengi to Ajax? They're losing a bunch of players and could sweeten some deals. Yeah, you would think that sounds like a good idea, doesn't it, altogether? But Ajax's system doesn't necessarily cater for just taking in a load of players on loan that probably really don't want to go out on loan. They sort of build their reputation up from bringing their own youth through and creating them players. I know they sort of took back the likes of Haller, Tadic, players like that. And their business model works brilliantly because the money that they've got for Haller, I mean, my God, it's like go and win the league with a player scoring 30-odd goals, was it? Then sell him on. It's a brilliant model. I mean, for a player that everyone thought was finished, not bad business. But yeah, I don't see Ajax as a loaning team, to be honest. Maybe one. I think Garnacho probably more for me would prosper in that. But a lot of United fans would then say, no, I want to see Garnacho on the bench this season. I want to see him maybe pushing some of the first team players. I believe out of all of the youth players, he is the closest. And you look at it and you go, 5 substitutes, how big is this squad going to be? We've lost a lot of players this summer, so some of them young players might be thinking, you never know. 5 substitutes every single game, I could get a bit of game time, especially with the Europa League. These players were thinking we can actually develop staying at Manchester United rather than going on loan this season. Knowing how Ten Hag is, knowing what room we've got on match days for substitutes and how many players we are and can use, and the way that Ten Hag plays and how he gets so much out of players, not everyone's going to be able to cope with the pace of that. So some of the younger players might be thinking, there may be a possibility, which is why this pre-season tour is so intriguing, especially with the younger players. And I'll bring Garner into that as well. If he hits the ground running this season, pre-season, then you never know. You really don't know. And that's another midfielder. Would Garner work alongside the likes of Frankie de Jong? Is it too much to bring in a young player and a player that's never played in the Premier League as a two? Is that why Ten Hag is looking at McTominay going in for the experience next to Frankie de Jong at first? You've got to balance it right. And that's why I think we've got so many games this summer. 6 pre-season games for Ten Hag to actually judge and look at his squad, and why I don't think we need to be too concerned with possibly a 4th or 5th signing. Wow, I know. Can't believe you're saying that, Adam. That's really pushing the boat out for Manchester United, but you never know. That extra midfielder could come in after Ten Hag has seen McTominay perform. Training is one thing, and everyone can put the effort in training. It's easier. Well, you would think it is. But when it comes to it, and like I said before, the good thing about Erik Ten Hag is he is mentally pushing these players. It's not just the physical side of it. He's going to need to look at what these players have got upstairs, and that's what excites me more than anything. Because I don't care what you do on training. In training, it's just the basics for me. Training is training. It's part of your job. It's what you've got upstairs, and can you handle what is coming on match day? Can you handle the pressure? Can you handle actually being a Manchester United player and probably one of the toughest spells that this club has ever had, especially with the way the fans are? So that's what I look at. That's what's more encouraging than anything for me. That's why I think it may change. I think why I think, my opinion, we may see later transfers in the window as well, even when the season starts. Then 5 games in August is a good spell for Ten Hag to actually look and go, actually, I need one more. What can we do? That's where I look at it and go, well, yeah, we could see a lot of action towards the back end of the window also. Max M with the super chat. Ajax doesn't want to take players without buy clauses. Like I said, I don't see Ajax being the sort of loan style club. They have a business model which works really well for them. I could see them taking players like Hala and Tadic that people think are done, but putting them into a system, giving them the confidence. Whether or not the new manager at Ajax can do that like Ten Hag did, he was very successful at it. It's going to be very interesting on their side of it, but I'm not really concerned about how Ajax deal with their business right now. It's all about United. I'm just going to go through a couple more tweets that are up on the United Stand Twitter feed right now. Much like Malacia, United are biding their time before formalising their interest in order to gauge what it will take to convince Ajax to sell Lisandro Martinez. That's from James Robson, again from the BBC. It's like that centre-back now, I think, takes priority. It looks like United could pretty much wrap up Frankie de Jong, Eriksen and Malacia very, very quickly. Now, we're at the later stages of all them deals, all slightly different complexities within them, but does look like they could happen anytime. So with that being said, United's now looking at other targets. I would think now will definitely have to be at the centre-back sort of area. Left back with Malacia there, it's overload, isn't it? So Telles, Shaw, Malacia, You've even got Fernandez coming through the under-23s, player of the year. Plenty of options and cover at left back. It's not a problem at all. A right back / centre back. Is that where United go next? Is that why the talk and the more sort of upbeat talk surrounding Martinez could be very, very interesting, because there's a player there that we know Ten Hag loves. We know he knows exactly what he can get from him. The Timber deal, by all accounts now, is completely dead. Is not happening at all. So it does look like, if we're going off what we said earlier in the show about Ten Hag looking at what he wants, going with players he knows from what he's played against or what he's used in his own teams before, then you got to look at it and go, Martinez fits the mold there exactly. So you, realistically, looking at it, United are trusting in Ten Hag in what he's looking at in this window. They're going with him. The players, like I mentioned before, all Ajax-based, Eredivisie-based players, knows exactly what he can get from him. Martinez being another one on top of that. Is that a concern to you? Are you worried about that? Are you willing to trust Ten Hag in that? Or is it just too much? Are we not looking outside the box? Why are we not looking into other leagues? Why is our scouting system so poor? But right now, with what Ten Hag needs to do and the pressure that's on him, you've got to sort of say, right, okay, this is your summer. And the club really have to just back him and say, right, you go out, get what you need. We'll back you on that. And then we'll look to see towards the back end of the season how we're doing, where we're going. Hopefully United are challenging a little bit more. Maybe we're looking at a good cup run or challenging for top 4 and it's working well. We can adapt players in from there, maybe look further afield then for the hidden gems. But Ten Hag needs to have a full season in charge. And I understand why he's going for what he knows right now, more than sort of taking a risk on a player from a different division. If he's going to play a certain style of football, and it's like what's been said and reports coming from Carrington already regarding the trainer's first impressions of a Ten Hag training session, mentally and physically draining, then he's going to want players that can come in and actually help the rest of this squad with this style of play and how he wants the football to be played at United. So trust him in this summer, I would say. And then look, Ten Hag would have had a full season, then he would have known exactly what he needs to add to that. But I think it's right that we give him that space and give him that freedom in the transfer market this summer, because let's not kid ourselves, he has got a mammoth of a job on his hands. So you got to look at it and go, let's give him the tools that he's going to need right now to deal with this squad. And you know what? Them players coming in, you look at them, they've all got that good attitude. They've all got that, I want to be a Ten Hag player. I want to be fully invested in what's going on at Manchester United. Like Malacia knows exactly what's coming. You know that Frankie de Jong does. Even Donny van de Beek coming back. Eriksen knows what's coming. They all have an understanding of it, and they can all be there to actually help the rest of the team that's there now that possibly are struggling with it. I hope they are struggling with it, because they all need a good kick up the arse, to be honest. Super chat from Mario Franco. Cheers. I believe we should prioritise Tielemans over Antony. Antony would be a difficult deal. I'm just going to read up an article I've got now on Antony, which makes it look unlikely that Manchester United will end up getting Antony. I mean, another player from Ajax related, Dutch related again. Crazy, I know, but it reads, it does not look like he will be moving to Old Trafford. Manchester United have been flirting with Antony for a long time, but it does look now like the 22-year-old football star will not, or highly likely that he will replace Holland with England this summer. It's from the Telegraph. I don't know which that one is, how it's pronounced properly, but looking into it in detail, it sort of brings up points where Ajax have now got to a stage where we all know that there's a lot of players leaving. There's an awful lot, and they can't obviously let too many players go. They have to sort of hold their own in their own division. I think one more player like Antony leaving, then there will be a little bit of unrest amongst the Ajax fans thinking, what is going on? That's why I think Ajax, and it says in this article as well, they've put that price tag on to Antony just to scare any suitors off. 70 million is a lot. 70 million is a lot for Antony right now, especially for Manchester United, I would say. I don't know anyone else who is in for Antony as such. And I think Ajax are just trying to say, like, look, yeah, enough is enough out of all of this. I don't think we can let Antony go as well. I mean, we're talking there, very, very positive links to Martinez, like I just said, which is looking more promising. But you've got to go, you can only bring in so many. And I do believe that on that right-hand side, we've got Sancho there. I think Rashford can play there. And I think the way that Ten Hag plays, I do believe that we were not too bad in that area of the pitch. I mean, it may even come to a point, I think Mark's even brought this up, where Bruno Fernandes gets pushed out a little bit to the right in Manchester United's attack. Will that benefit him a little bit more? It's an interesting point because, like we said, with Donny coming back and Eriksen coming in possibly as well, you've got that area sort of covered. Does Bruno Fernandes take a different role this season? Does he move into that forward line a little bit more? I know he's flirted with the false nine side of it. Ten Hag doesn't play that as such. He has the sort of target man, which probably will be Ronaldo. He'll have to be strict there, but he is going to need service. Our best assists are from Sancho and Bruno Fernandes over the last few seasons. Obviously, Sancho from Dortmund, but they're our main assists makers in this football team. Stats don't lie. You could see Bruno take up a different role in all of this as well. That's why I said it's going to be really interesting to see what happens on the pre-season tour and how everything is adapted. Super chat from Zane. Oh, hello, Zane. I've not seen you for a while on one of my shows, mate. Getting a bit bullish, as always. Even if you get the Jong, Jesus is better, mate. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Jesus is a better signing. Watch Arteta take him to the next level. I'm sure he was challenging for titles at City with Pep, wasn't he? Next level? As in, like, what? Next level for himself? Because he's not going to go to the next level at Arsenal, is he, mate? Let's be fair. He's going to be with us in the Europa League. So, yeah, cheers for the super chat, Zane. No, mate. It's all good. Loving the banter. But, yeah, in terms of everything that's going on with United right now, like we said at the top of the show, it isn't a panic station sort of look on things. I feel a little bit more positive myself. That's why I put it out this morning about not worrying about what's happening with Malacia and stuff like that. And I think that kit launch being delayed to next week kind of proves everything. United are just waiting a little bit longer. The kit launch, the tour will be sent out. New players, I do believe, will come in at Manchester United next week. I think that's the key week. I think that's when we're going to see everything start to change. And like I said, then everyone else by next week, the international players will also be back. So you're going to get all the big guns back. And then you start to see what Ten Hag can really do. It's not long now. I mean, what is it? I think the 12th or 13th is the first game. So we're looking at less than 2 weeks till the first pre-season game now against Liverpool. So we're going to start to see a lot of changes at Manchester United very soon. Super chat in from Thomas. You're starting to grow me, Adam. Good session, Thomas. Thank you, mate. I'm happy that you. I'm happy I'm happy you think that way. But positive. I've got to look at it on a positive slant because I wasn't expecting this. I thought Frankie de Jong, maybe Eriksen, but when Malacia broke this week and United moved so quickly on it, with Ten Hag being in and around Manchester United, I sort of just got the vibe that things were moving because Ten Hag was in situ. He's like looking at the squad now. And I remember saying it. I'm not going to big myself up. I remember saying it a few weeks ago. I said, I do believe now that Manchester United won't make a signing until pre-season training starts. And Ten Hag has started to get a look at these players and know what's what. And just the whole sort of feel of Ten Hag being around Manchester United have lifted the fan base a little bit, I've noticed. And that's why I think the likes of Frankie de Jong, Eriksen, I think Malacia, these will all be settled one way or the other. And I do believe that they will be United players next week, in my opinion. The tour will start. Everyone will start to see what's being put in place. And we'll see why Ten Hag has brought these particular players in. I do believe this will be the first manager where we will know that the players have been brought in for him, I believe. That just looking at it, you have to say it does look that way. And that's where my positive outlook has come from this last week, because Ten Hag around and everything that's going on, the noise is coming from the training ground, along with the players that he's looking at and going for now, is massive for this football club, because it looks like we're trusting in the manager and we're backing a manager. Proof is in the pudding, I know. And only when a player is holding up that new United shirt at the kit launch next week, whether it will be then, is when we actually say, yes, they have backed this manager. Because as of yet, Manchester United have still signed zero players. So a lot is to come, I do believe, next week. But let's just see. Let's wait it out. But I'm looking more confident at it. I'm looking a bit more optimistic. I need to be, because I'm looking at everyone else, and there's a lot of strong teams up there already now. Forget about the top two. If Chelsea's owner goes with what he said and they bring in 6 players, then Chelsea are going to be hard to catch within this first season with Ten Hag. And then we're looking at Spurs and Arsenal. And we already know that they've, like Zane said, I won't go as far as that, but Arsenal have improved. Spurs have definitely improved. United needed to act. Hopefully we'll be ready for the start of the season. Not long to go. Just under a month until the season officially starts. Less than 2 weeks before the pre-season first game starts. Season is round the corner now. July is here. This is when business needs to be done. So I'm going with the positive vibe. Please don't let me down, United, and make me look like an idiot. Please don't. But you never know with this football club. It can always change. And we've seen it change. So I'm staying positive. That's it. I'm going with it. I'm confident that the tour is going to start positively and we are going to have new faces there. I've got to stick with it. Guys, cheers for watching. That will wrap it up for this lunchtime. Thank you for all super chats, all your comments. Everyone who's been in here watching with us, looking positive for a change. Give the video a like on your way out as well, people. Subscribe to the United Stand. Tune into our social accounts on Instagram and Twitter also. That's where you will catch up with most of this ever-changing transfer news. But for now, we are done. Cheers, everybody. I will see you later on tonight, actually, where we'll have a few more updates. Forgot to even mention that. But until 8 o'clock, see you later, everybody. Bye-bye.